Welcome back to Andersen Acres. Today we're diving into one of the largest rabbit breeds you'll ever encounter, the British Giant. This isn't your average bunny. The British Giant has a long history, a commanding presence, and some very particular needs that make it a breed worth learning about before you even consider adding one to your farm. So learn about this guy before going out to get one, because he's not your average bunny. Let's start with their origins. The British Giant was developed in the United Kingdom during the mid-20th century. Breeders wanted a rabbit similar in size to the massive Continental Giant, but with more variety in color and temperament that fit British show standards. So by carefully selecting from Continental lines and refining them, they produced a rabbit that could still reach an impressive size, but with a wider range of appearances and a personality that made it distinct from its European cousins. Today, the British Giant remains rare outside the UK, but it's a breed that captures attention wherever it's seen because it's gorgeous and it's gigantic. Now let's talk about their appearance, because that is one breed that simply can't be ignored. British Giants typically weigh between 12 and 15 pounds, so they're pretty big, and some individuals can even push beyond that up to around 20 pounds. They have a long, broad body with powerful bone structures, and when you see one stretched out, you really appreciate just how much rabbit is in front of you, because they're long rabbits. Their ears are upright and medium length. They're not as exaggerated as the Continental's ears, but still large enough to match their big frame. So their ears don't look puny. Okay, their ears look nice and big, but they're not as big as the Continentals. Their fur is dense and soft and close-lying, and one of the defining features of the breed is the sheer variety of colors. There's black and blue and white and agouti and steel gray, even opal. British Giants have one of the broadest color ranges recognized among the giant breeds, making them a favorite for rabbit shows because there's just so much to look at. Now, what about temperament? Well, despite their intimidating size, British Giants are known for being calm, docile, and even affectionate. They're sometimes described as laid-back giants, and that's pretty accurate. These rabbits often enjoy human interaction and will settle happily into a routine with you, but they do need confident handling. Their weight means they need to be supported carefully when they are picked up, and it's usually better to encourage interaction on the ground or in a secure enclosure rather than constantly lifting them up, because a lot of people just don't lift them correctly and they weigh so much that you can damage their spine if you pick them up and they're dangling. Their back legs are dangling like that. There's not enough support. You could actually damage their spine. So for families and individuals who want a gentle companion, they're an excellent choice if you have the room to accommodate them. Speaking of room, let's talk about their care, because the space they need is one of their primary care requirements. This is where the size of the British Giant really makes a difference. A standard rabbit hutch or a standard pen will not do. They need large housing, whether that's a specially built hutch, maybe a shed with an attached run, or whether you are using an indoor pen or giving them their own bedroom. They need a lot of space. Outdoor enclosures need to be both secure and spacious, and these rabbits really benefit from having indoor shelter and outdoor exercise runs. They are a rabbit designed to have at least some outdoor time, so they're not ideal for an apartment rabbit if you don't have somewhere they can go outside. The fresh air and sunlight does them well. They are really designed to be outside. I'm not saying they can't be house rabbits, but a house rabbit with, like, maybe you have a porch or a yard that's fenced in that can contain the rabbit so that he can go outside every day, that would be ideal, even if he is a house bunny. Daily exercise is really crucial for maintaining strong joints and preventing obesity, both of which can become huge problems in these giant breeds. So it really is important that you have enough space that he can really exercise, because if he can't, he's going to pay the price when it comes to his health. Diet is something else to consider. British Giants eat a lot. Look at how big they are. They eat a lot, more than your average rabbit. They need more hay, more greens, more water, more pellets. They do thrive on a hay-based diet, so that can save you a little money because it's not as expensive as pellets. but you're going to go through bales rather than bags. So if you're used to having a regular, like maybe you're used to having Holland lops, like I have a lot of Holland lops, and you buy hay by the bag, you're going to want to switch to buying it by the bale if you are getting a British Giant, okay? They need a bale of hay. Pellets need to be measured really carefully. If you overfeed the pellets, they're going to get chonky, and an obese British Giant has multiple health issues, including quite severe joint issues. So you really want to keep those pellets under control. You do want to use the pellets as a ration balancer, not as a main food source. And their larger size absolutely makes them more prone to obesity. So you also have to cut back on the snacks. Okay, you might feed a lot of different snacks to a regular rabbit and they don't gain a lot of weight. These guys will. And remember, those extra pounds are going to put a lot of strain on their joints. Grooming. This is another factor. The coat is dense and benefits from weekly brushing to keep it clean and free of loose fur. While they're not as high maintenance as Angoras, they do need regular attention, and they have a lot of fur. They're a big rabbit. It's not long hair. There's just a lot of it. So you really need to brush them so they don't consume too much hair and get like an impaction and have to go to the vet, and it's a whole thing. Keep the brush so that they don't consume a lot of hair, and then you won't have very many problems when it comes to accidentally eating too much of their own hair from grooming. Health concerns in this breed are pretty common for larger rabbits. So these are a lot of the concerns that come with your Flemish Giants or your Continentals as well. Sore hocks, if they are kept on wire flooring. So a softer flooring is ideal because they're just heavy. Okay, these guys are heavy. They're too heavy for most wire floors. It puts too much pressure. They're heavy. These guys are damage their feet on wire surfaces. Solid surfaces with soft bedding is ideal. They'll appreciate it. Their joints can also become really stressed over time. I've mentioned that a few times. Keeping them active and lean is basically preventative health care for these guys. They get too chunky, they're going to get joint problems. Once they have joint problems, it's very difficult to turn that around. So maybe head that one off before it starts. And like all rabbits, they are prone to dental problems and digestive upsets, but their size makes the consequences of these problems a lot more noticeable. Okay? Lifespans average 5 to 6 years, so they're not the most long-lived of rabbits. Some well-cared-for ones can live for a bit longer, but again, just like with Flemish Giants, the bigger rabbits don't tend to live as long. Even if you compare a Rex to a Holland Lops live longer, right? The smaller rabbits live longer than the larger. It's just the way it is. So these guys don't have the longest lifespan, but they still can have a wonderful impact on your life. But who is the British Giant suited for? This isn't the right rabbit for someone in a small apartment or for a beginner who just wants a pet without much setup or maintenance. These are rabbits for people with space. That could be a farm or a large garden or indoor accommodations built to scale, built big enough for these guys. They can make excellent show animals or companions or just impressive additions to your hobby farm. Yep. But they're not practical for production purposes. They're not really meat rabbits in the modern sense. Unless they're chonky, and they shouldn't be for their health, they don't really have a lot of meat on them. Your Flemish Giants would be better as a meat rabbit, but honestly, if you're going to do meat rabbits, stick with your New Zealands, your Rexes, or your Californians. These guys, can you eat them? Sure. Is it ideal? No. They don't have a ton of meat on them. They're big, not chonky. So they're also not prolific wool producers. I mean, technically you can spin any fiber, but these guys don't have anything special when it comes to fiber. They're soft, but it's nothing you can't get from another breed of rabbit. Their value is more in their presence, their personality, and their contribution to breed diversity. So should you add a British Giant to your farm? I guess that depends on your goals. If you want a calm, beautiful, gentle rabbit that will turn heads and give you a unique experience, then the British Giant might be perfect for you. But if you're looking for an efficient meat rabbit or a small, easy-to-house rabbit, this breed might not be the best fit. Okay? British Giants They're best for people who are appreciative of heritage breeds, who have the resources to meet their special needs, and who want to enjoy the company of a truly remarkable rabbit. That's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. The British Giant is a rabbit that brings size, beauty, and a great gentle nature to the table, but it's not a breed for everyone. Would you ever consider making room on your farm for a gentle rabbit like this one? Or do you think they're best admired from afar? Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. We'll see you tomorrow.